Hey everybody, welcome to a brand new installment of Nintendo World Report at Night for Friday, July 9th, 2015. It is July 8th, 2016, not July 9th, 2015. I apologize. Fantastic start. I'm Alex Gulafi, joined today by one Donald Terrier.
Stay fresh.
What, you know what's a
You
shame?
only get the one?
That's the only one I'm willing to admit that I own.
Oh,
What are you doing with the other one?
It's sitting in a box, so I'm going to try to find some sucker to split the cost of the pack with me.
oh.
You're the one who likes Callie, right? Of the two. She's your
Yeah.
waifu. So, she's the
Is there
more
a difference
wholesome girl.
between them?
It's Donald's is more wholesome.
Oh,
Um, yeah,
Oh.
I still don't remember their names. It's like
Callie and Marie.
I know
And
their names. I don't know which is which.
yeah, good point. I don't either.
Callie's the one with the black hair and the nice attitude, and Marie is is the whiter hair and is the can I use the term trollop on the show?
Oh, that's a way. I was gonna use hussy.
Tally ho, pip pip.
Yeah.
The British have such nice ways of insulting people.
What word were you thinking of, Donald?
Trollop.
No. What was that a stand-in for? I forget.
I don't think I can say that word on this show.
See, the reason I'm asking you and not Zach is because Zach will actually say it.
I think it rhymes with some of the characters I'm using in Fire Emblem right now, who are a lot of dark mages, a lot of witches.
I am also joined by This is Zachary Miller.
I got a new amiibo too, but she only works with twin snakes.
Oh,
That is, I can see why you didn't want to take that out at work, Zach. That's a very
Yeah.
well-placed gun.
Yeah, the office was empty, but I didn't want to take the risk.
I feel like calling her a hussy would be an insult to both her and the term hussy.
I feel like as soon as I opened that box, an empty office would suddenly fill up, and people would want to come see me in my office.
Mm.
You have that contract yet, Zach? Damn it.
This is why I'm glad I work from home now.
Yeah.
So we got 3 topics of discussion, I think, as far as I know. We got Pokemon Go, which we're going to be talking about right now. We got Monster Hunter Generations, which is what I've been playing. I'm 20 hours in. I'm finally at the part of the game I can't talk about until the embargo breaks, which means I'm actually making pretty good progress, so we'll talk about that a little bit. Donald will come up with some questions for me to respond to.
I feel like we should talk about that first because it's not depressing.
Well, Pokemon Go is the bigger. Well, okay, I'll talk
Start
about
with
something.
something positive.
Okay, here's what I'm going to talk about. We'll do our first discussion first, since it's only going to be about 5 minutes. I bought an Xbox One.
Oh, yeah.
Today. Yeah, we were talking about just that before the show. You're making it sound like it was a surprise, Zach. I like that.
Yeah.
Um,
It's not like I forgot or anything.
There's a deal on the Microsoft Store right now where you can get an Xbox for $299 that includes the 1 terabyte old fat model. It's like the spring bundle, so it's really from like 2-3 months ago. It comes with Halo 5, Ori and the Blind Forest, Gears of War 1 remake. The 4th game is Rare Replay, and then it also comes with a free, like, shitty old Ubisoft game of your choice. I got Assassin's Creed Unity, so 5 games there. It also comes with
35 games, really.
34.
34, yeah.
It comes with another Xbox One controller,
Oh, my
and
God.
it comes with a $50 Microsoft Store gift card.
Oh, my God.
And it comes with $20 off that like design a controller thing they announced at E3.
Oh, my God.
And
You
like
pretty much got a free system.
that's what like some people were saying, because like if you look at the original MSRP of the games it comes with, that in itself is like $210.
Oh, my God. I need to get on this.
So there were a couple things. One, I didn't really want to get an Xbox because I have too many games to play as it is. Like I have TMS and Xenoblade Chronicles X and Far Cry 4 all sealed. I have like an enormous backlog of games I buy on Sony sales. Like it's super irresponsible of me to get a new console, but also I was making a list of the games I wanted to play, and I can actually I can probably pull up that list now. Do you guys want me to read it off quickly?
Yeah,
It's
sure.
okay because it'll be super quick. The thing is, I've never owned an Xbox console before, so the things I'm interested in are like things that were on the other two Xbox games. So I never played Gears 1, 2, 3, 4, Judgment, Halo 2, 3, 4, 5, Reach, ODST, Wars 2, Alan Wake / American Nightmare, Fable 2, Fable 3, Rare Replay because I always wanted to play Battletoads and Perfect Dark and Banjo-Kazooie.
Yes.
Dead Rising 3 and 4, because you know how I am about those zombies. Sea of Thieves, Cuphead, which is like
Oh God, that's the game that'll
probably
get me to buy one.
that's the game that like pushed me over. I'm like, I don't want to get Cuphead on Steam and play it that way. I want to play it with a
Right.
controller on my couch, and I don't have a PC that'll let me do that. And Cuphead looks like it's going to be one of the best looking games of all time.
Dude, did you when you were at PAX?
I
Did
didn't
you
play
sit
it, but
and watch?
I
know,
just sat
did you
and
watch people
watched.
play?
I sat and watched, and I talked to like one of the brothers. It's like two brothers who are making that game.
Yeah.
There's also Inside, which seems super good. There's
Is
Below.
that exclusive or does that come to other
That just
stuff?
came to PC, I think.
Oh, really? Okay.
But I think it might be Microsoft published. There's Below, which looks really cool, which is from Capybara.
Mm-hmm.
Crackdown 2, Crackdown 3, D4, Quantum Break, Scalebound, Sunset Overdrive, which is like $10 now, Rise of the Tomb Raider, Killer Instinct, the Forza series, Rise, and State of Decay / State of Decay 2.
You might actually be better served by taking that $50 gift card they sent you and getting like Xbox credit with that, because I know they're doing a pretty big sale right now on that, so you might be able to get a couple of games off that list for pretty cheap.
Yeah, I was looking at it because like the Gears games are like $6 to $8 each right now on sale, and the State of Decay is like $15, and State of Decay looks actually super cool.
Yeah, and they just added Red Dead Redemption on the backwards compatibility, so you can have the greatest poker game of all time. If your Queen High Straight loses to a King High Straight, you can pull out a gun and shoot the a-hole.
Let me see. Well, obviously the reason why Cherry Goblin points out that the reason why I was able to get this Xbox so cheap, and everyone who's watching this and listening right now can actually get it for the same price. Microsoft's trying to get rid of all their old Xbox Ones for the Slim coming out in a couple months.
Makes sense.
We Happy Few is also happening, which I didn't watch because like I didn't have an Xbox at the time, so it's just like this looks like an indie game, whatever.
Yeah.
It's a really messed up indie game though.
Yeah. Whatever. Cheered Goblin also asks what happened to the Cloud Corn and Bayonetta amiibo.
Right.
That was.
Those
will still come out.
I think historically there's been like 8 or 9 months between when the character comes out and when the amiibo comes out.
Yeah.
So I would have thought they would have had that soon, but I don't know. Maybe they're saving it for the NX launch. I really hope not though, because I want the Corrin amiibo, I want Bayonetta certainly, and I could use a new punching bag with Cloud.
Sure. Do you have a complete collection so far, Donald?
No, I mean they just put out the announcement that there's 100 amiibo. It's like okay, I'm not buying any of the Animal Crossing ones. I've got maybe a third of the Smash Brothers collection thus far, and Mario and the Splatoon guys.
Okay. Your collection's actually much smaller than I thought it would be. I don't have any like amiibo I necessarily need to get, but I am looking at the Mega Man. I was gonna get a gold Mega Man amiibo, but like those seem like way too expensive.
Yeah, because they're only
the normal one.
Yeah, just get the normal one because honestly, it's literally gold spray paint on the regular amiibo, and the golden one was only sold with Mega Man Legacy Collection in the special edition.
The bonuses also seem kind of crap, like on the Mega Man Legacy Collection. Like the challenges aren't that good.
And the challenges that unlock are not great.
Yeah, it's because it's just save states, and it's just I'd rather play the original game balanced by the creators.
Yeah.
By creator of Mega Man, Keiji Inafune.
How far are we fallen?
I discovered something tonight because of some old.
Well, hold on. Keiji Inafune only fell because people didn't know who Keiji Inafune actually was. Keiji Inafune only got to where he was because people had a misunderstanding of the kind of person he actually was. Like Cameo was right when he's like, he's not a game creator, he's a businessman.
Yeah.
Yeah, and based on watching some videos here, I think I know what Mighty Number 9 is supposed to be. It's supposed to represent the bad future where Mega Man 8 decided the future of the Mega Man series.
Um, I
That's
have
pretty
Mega
good.
Man 8 now. I got that on a PlayStation sale.
I'm so sorry for you.
I might never play it. Like I'm playing Monster Hunter right now, which we'll talk about later, and like that game's gonna be 40 hours, and I got all these Xbox games to play.
At least 40 hours.
Yeah. Um. But yeah,
I should play
Xbox.
Monster Hunter 4
You should. That
because
game's
I own
great.
it.
That's a great game for people who've never played Monster Hunter and want to play Monster Hunter to play. And you seem like a guy who would like Monster Hunter.
Yeah, I know. I should play it.
You like challenging games. You like dinosaurs and dragons and
Yes,
shit.
I do.
You're that kind of boy. Let's
I
talk
am.
about let's talk about Pokemon Go. I just wanted to say that I got a great deal on Xbox.
You did.
Pokemon Go. I haven't played it really yet because I downloaded it on my phone. I turned it on. I don't have 3G, so like I was just trying to use it in my apartment and seeing what it would let me do. And there's a part of me that's considering getting 3G for Pokemon Go, but it's getting crap reviews all around. It's the art design is horse doo doo.
The art is awful. Why
It's
would they move into a more realistic art style from what the Pokemon games have always been?
Here's the thing: is that this is what happens when it's only the Pokemon Company calling the shots, and it's not Game Freak or Nintendo. Who it seems like Game Freak and Nintendo have a way better handle of Pokemon messaging than the Pokemon Company does. Because when the Pokemon Company gets control, you get the Pokken tournament situation where everyone looks like crap, and then the character like sprites look like the Pokken tournament character art. Like it's like I'm getting the vibe.
Yet the Pokemon themselves look like they're from Pokemon Stadium.
Yeah.
Right. I
Yeah.
get the vibe that they don't understand Pokemon Niantic.
See this hole in my home screen right now? That's where
Wait.
Pokemon Go was.
Ooh.
Oh, you removed it already? Good
I
on you.
already removed it.
It's a waste of 50 megabytes.
Yeah, I mean, it was all. Well, I've got three problems with this thing. One, as I said earlier, I work from home, so I don't have much chance to go out anyway. And although I did catch 7 Pokemon at my desk, that leads into the next problem. The servers are so much of a dumpster fire right now.
I can't
Like,
even play it.
with like the trainer club being down for 2 days straight now.
What is that?
Like the Pokemon backend systems, which include stuff like game syncing in the 3DS games, and which you can also use as a login for Pokemon Go,
Okay.
have basically went down Wednesday night, and they haven't come back up since.
Wow.
Yeah, and I was able to get the game because, well, Android, you can get, if you get the installer file, you can do whatever you want.
Right.
But the official rollout of the game is just in the US and Australia right now, and you guys have already crashed the servers.
Right.
People crashed the servers when it came out in Australia.
Yeah.
Just Australia and New Zealand. And I got it when it launched Wednesday night.
Yeah.
Right.
And I have not been able to play for more than 5 minutes. The servers are always down. It's brutal. I mean, good Lord. Did they not think that their real-life Pokemon game that was marketed to people who've been playing Pokemon for 20 years would be popular?
Let's rewind a little bit, Zach, because there's something I figured out about this game
All right.
that you actually transitioned flawlessly into unintentionally.
That's what I do.
We're not the audience for Pokemon Go. Being on a Facebook page with a lot of other college kids, a lot of high school kids, and then also knowing guys like you and guys like me and guys like Joe Merrick, and even he's having a lot of problems with the game. It seems like this game's not for us. This game is for the people who used to like Pokemon and have the idealized view of Pokemon and don't have the same impossibly high standards for video games that we do, and like they want to feel like they belong to something nerdy and shit. Like, if you, like, because I was looking at the way like people like us are talking about Pokemon Go, kind of giving semi-scathing reviews to it, or like impressions of it, or like at least apathy. And then I look at it's not good yet. I hope it becomes good. It's not good yet. Like the server stuff I can forgive. The stuff I'm having trouble with seems like it's at like the actual core of the way the game is played and the way like they're not delivering on the promises of a super connected Pokemon thing.
Yeah.
But I'm getting the vibe that it's this is built for the people who probably used to like Pokemon or want to belong to the group that likes Pokemon because now it's cool for a little bit to like Pokemon because it's only the first 151 in the game as far as I know.
Yeah, that is my other chief complaint with the game is that of the Pokemon that are in the game, there's maybe 4 or 5 that I care about, and I'm looking for anything after 160 before I start getting back into it.
Generation 1 was a great start to a series that got better.
Yeah, I think the best Pokemon are Gold, Silver Pokemon.
Yeah. I think Johto still holds up. I think I would Hoenn and Kanto are about at the same quality, I think. Sinnoh, not great. I'm a big fan of Unova, but not a big fan of Kalos, but Donald's the other way around. Like, take it or leave it, right?
Black and White's still my favorite, so...
Really?
Yeah.
You just like Pokemon X and Y a lot?
Yeah. I like it. I like X and Y especially more than like it goes Platinum, X and Y, Black and White for me is like my top 3.
Platinum's damn good.
Wait, Black and White being number 1, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, Black and White is like that game is so good it reminds me of the classic Pokemon games.
Yeah. Once I have the ability to find, say, Galvantulas on my bed instead of Weedles, then we might get somewhere.
Yeah. Pokemon Black 2 and White 2. I don't mean to be this guy, but I think that's where the series started to go in the direction that it is now. Which is like super. It feels way more corporate now than it did in the past, even though it's an enormously corporate series since the games first came out in like 90 whatever in 96.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Like it's now it feels like it's made by a corporation.
Yeah. I mean, if you want to see an example of what Pokemon Go could be once it works and is good, Neil put up an interesting little diary last night that had me going, "What the f?" at least twice when I edited it. But the problem,
he's having way more fun with this than the rest of us combined.
Yeah, but I know I happen to cross paths with a lot of the Ingress community in my area, and 96% of them are people that I would probably want to run far away from. So I'm worried that it's going to be bringing that crowd back into it because it's something that they did before, and there's already been reports of like people getting beaten up, assaulted, whatever you want to call it.
You mean like the people who are like the people who make conventions look bad?
Yeah, like how can I put this? Everything is great on paper until you insert the human element into it. This game is going to have a really scary human element.
Terry Goblin says, "Did you hear about the girl who found a dead body while playing Pokemon Go all over the news? Did you hear about the boy who fell off a bridge playing Pokemon Go?"
Yeah, man.
I don't know if that one's true. That could be in like one of those cracked articles later of like 15 stories that were actually bullshit.
Yeah.
But like it's if that's true, like Pokemon Go
is
having
true that kid's not reading the very first screen you see. Pay attention to your surroundings.
Mm-hmm.
You'd think they would pay attention to a giant freaking Gyarados yelling at you, "Hey, pay attention to what you're doing."
Yeah.
Yeah. My favorite thing of Pokemon Go has been watching how like people utilize the AR feature of the Pokemon.
Yes.
Like there's the one where it's someone cooking a Magikarp in a frying pan.
Yeah.
There's the other one where it's people find a Rattata, like they put a Rattata on the street next to an actual dead rat.
I wish I had saved this picture of the Weedle on the bed earlier, but I think my favorite one is the honest between the two bottles of liquor. Is like, yeah, this is gonna be fun
It's gonna
tonight.
be lit. Yeah. It's as it stands, the community's better than the game itself, which is
Yeah.
sometimes the case with all kinds of games.
The game also, even though I'm really just getting to the loading screen before it craps out on me, makes my phone temperature rise to be about the same as the surface of the sun. So I can't imagine playing it for a very long time.
Yeah, Cerebi was talking about like it drained his battery in like 2 hours.
Oh,
He was
brutal.
not paying attention and fell off the bridge and
Yeah,
into the water and died. Yeah. Just I was
yeah.
just looking at some cons.
Kudos to Amazon, by the way, for putting like a 20,000 milliamp extended battery on as their deal of the day for $27. Because Pokemon Go is probably going to move a lot of those.
Yeah.
I wonder how many downloads Pokemon Go is ultimately going to get. If it's going to hit the 10 million mark, if it's going to hit the 1 million mark, if it's going to hit the 100 million mark. Like, I'm very curious. Like, how big is the Pokemon audience? And I think this might be the actual, like, measure of it.
What's the Miitomo numbers? Do we know?
I can tell you right now on Android. Maybe. Where's my telephone? Oh.
For what it's worth, like Pokemon Go has been the highest grossing app on both Android and iOS this week, or since it came out. Miitomo, I think it peaked at like number 46. But like this is the closest you're going to get theoretically to having a main series Pokemon game on a cell phone for the foreseeable future.
Sure.
As long as Nintendo still owns 2/3 of it and has handheld consoles to sell, the main series is not going anywhere.
Right.
So it's sorry to interrupt, Arnold, but it said 5 million downloads on the Google Play Store.
Yeah, so you probably figure maybe 1 to 2 million more on like add another million or two plus another 5 million on iOS.
Yeah.
I mean, that's good. That's better than say Pokemon Shuffle.
Well, sure.
Well, actually, I have a question. What is the bigger audience? Is it iOS or is it Android? Because Android's more worldwide.
Right, but looking at like of the countries where it's available, those numbers mostly skew to iOS.
Oh, I see. So when both are available, iOS takes the cake. But on a worldwide scale, Android probably edges it out.
Yeah, like in the U.S. and my impression of the ANZAC regions is that iOS has a little bit bigger market share because especially in the U.S. where you guys where the cell phone upgrade cycle isn't as fierce as it would be in other countries where they have more opportunity to do that people tend to stick with iPhones longer, and you need a pretty beefy Android phone to actually run this thing. Like my roommate's got a relatively recent Android phone, but he can't run Pokemon Go or Miitomo for that matter.
Oh wow, yeah, Miitomo's kind of a hog too.
Yeah, I keep trying to get him to upgrade, but I think the only way it's going to work is if I like upgrade my own phone next year and give him this one.
Do we know if Pokemon Go is phone only or if it's also a tablet version?
I think the plan was that it was going to be heavily based on phones. I know somebody who did run Ingress off an Android tablet, but it's it requires GPS, which on tablets is usually tethered to a cell phone connection anyway.
I don't think my Nexus 10 has GPS.
Yeah, so that's a lot of the information on that is going to require GPS. Like I have to turn my location data on when I use it, or when I did use it.
And like you can download iPhone apps on iPad. It just has it's just emulated.
Yeah, and stretched out pretty badly. So but like I said, I think the only way to get GPS on an iPad as well, you need to get like a 3G capable iPad.
Fair. So Android has a 52% share as of 2014, by the way, says Mr. T.R. Brody.
Right. So it's like 52-47. It's just generally speaking.
Wait, what's the other 1%?
Windows Phone.
That's Donald
Windows
accounts for
Phone.
everything. It's foolish of me to think Donald made a math mistake.
Those are Zune numbers, is what those are.
Yeah, poor John Raritan. He can't. He has a Windows Phone. He's like, Neil, can I expense a phone for the site to play this?
Okay. But we didn't talk about the quality of the game too much. Donald, what do you think of the quality of Pokemon Go as a video game?
Considering you've already deleted it.
Yeah, well, it didn't help that it wiped my data. So, yeah, like, okay, I'm sitting there, I somehow get this incense, and I activate it, and within 30 minutes I've had 7 Pokemons show up while I'm sitting at my desk at work. So, I mean, like we said, the graphics, like the Pokemon, they look like they borrowed the models right out of Stadium, which that's not a good thing. Those models probably predate my attending high school, let alone graduating from it.
And they don't really do anything.
Yeah, they just sit there, and it uses the phone's camera to do AR stuff. Like I could take, like my little phone number sheet that's on my desk here. I could see a Rattata on it, or an Eevee, or whatever.
Right. Or your steering wheel if you're in the car.
Or if you're holding your phone in a certain position, you can see a Diglett land right between your legs.
Has that been something? Has that been something 2,000 people retweeted yet?
Yes.
Okay, obviously. I'm gonna look up Diglett just so I can see this.
Jesus.
Warning: not safe for work, school, or anywhere else you might get in trouble.
I like that. I like that one you retweeted, Donald, where someone was trying to put their name in. They said, "My dick," and it said, "Try something longer."
Yeah.
Oh, by the way, it took me an unusually long time to get a name that wasn't already taken.
Yeah, I was trying to figure that out myself. Like I grabbed it right away as soon as the Android installer went up, but like I couldn't even use some of my old forum aliases. I had to like corrupt the name of one of the Sun and Moon Pokemon.
Damn.
You know what's the most upsetting thing is looking up like a tweet and then everyone else has already ripped it off for themselves.
Huh.
It's yeah,
well, before this game came out on Wednesday, when I watched that really actually kind of awful discussion at E3 about Pokemon Go, and they brought out that little Pokeball where you don't actually have to play the game anymore. You just click the. Is that what it is? You just click the button, you caught a Pokemon.
The Pokemon Go Plus thing, which will like feed a Pokemon, or if something comes up, that'll serve as hitting the button to throw it,
right.
Or you can also use it in the gym areas to do battling that way.
Yeah. Well, when I saw that and they were talking about the game, I thought, I mean, I might get this Plus thing that's $30 because I think I could really fall in love with wandering around the neighborhood looking for Pokemon like you do in the games, which is the point. But after 3 days of this, the server's constantly being down, and when they're not down, all I'm finding are drowsies. It's just not a good. It's not a good impression. They're making an awful first impression with this game.
Yeah. But if they get the install base and if they want to make it better.
Yeah, I mean, look, it's got to be patched a lot.
It's gonna be. I think it's gonna be. They want this game to have legs, obviously. By only including the first 151 Pokemon, that's them saying we want this game to have more. Like they probably could include all 719 Pokemon and do a Sun and Moon patch later, but by doing it this way, this basically is them saying we want this game to have like a lifespan.
Yeah.
We want this thing to be running 2 years from now, or 3 years from now. I think that's how long one of my friends was playing Ingress for.
Swab said, get the new Final Fantasy game on iPhone and Android. It's an amazing game. I haven't heard that, but I know that the last Final Fantasy game that got put on phones was supposed to be the worst thing ever.
You mean Record? You mean All the Bravest? Because that was a couple years ago.
Yeah.
There have been a couple since then. but they still have a bit of the gacha mechanic to it, and nah. I think Final Fantasy is like leaving me cold the same way Pokemon Go is, honestly.
You know what game is on iPhone that I found out about yesterday is Monster Hunter Dynamic Hunting.
What?
Did you know there was a Monster Hunter game on iPhone?
No. I mean, I'm not surprised because they put fighting games on mobile now, but...
And not only that, it doesn't seem like it's a shitty mobile game. It seems like it's actually like a decent approximation of like the Monster Hunter experience to Apple. And it's like it costs money. Like it's not free to play. Like, it's a game.
Thank God.
It's
yeah. I know I think they ported like one of the PSP games to mobile at some point, but
Freedom. Monster Hunter Freedom Unite, they did, yeah.
Imagine trying to play that on an Apple.
I can't imagine.
Virtual buttons for a game the game that basically invented the claw? I don't think so.
What's interesting is that on Monster Hunter 4 Ultimate, when I played it on my new 3DS last year, I just used the virtual touchpad on the touchscreen. It actually worked fine.
Really?
This time with Monster Hunter Generations, I have been using the C-Stick. Monster Hunter Generations, I'm 20 hours in. I'm now in the 4-star quests, which are things I'm not allowed to talk about. I can talk about the game through the 3-star quests, but I think that also allows me to talk about preview stuff like the game as a whole. I'm 20 hours in. Let me just say Monster Hunter 4 is incredible. Everyone who wants to play it should play it. I gave it like an 8.5. That's actually like a much more accurate score for it. It's as incredible as an 8.5 game can be, but that game is super accessible to people who've always wanted to get into Monster Hunter and see what it's about, but like haven't been able to. The tutorial is excellent, such and such, such and such. Monster Hunter Generations is the game made for people who really love Monster Hunter 4 and want more Monster Hunter game to go with it. Like Monster Hunter Generations is not going to light up anyone's world. It's more Monster Hunter content, and it includes like an okay number of like advancements for the series, but I would say it's not a great first game to play in the series, but it's a great second game to play in the series.
Well, even the Capcom rep we were talking to at PAX was pretty much saying that. She said it's kind of a best of. So if you're familiar with the series, then it's really good for you.
Right.
But even she was espousing the virtues of Monster Hunter 4 for beginners.
Right. Monster Hunter 4 is where it's at. But if you love Monster Hunter 4, like Donald did, like I did, like this is a great game to play because there's more monsters than any other game in the series. There's more maps than any other game in the series. I'm almost positive, and I think there might be like multiple more maps than other games in the series because like I've only done like 2 or 3 tiers of missions, and I've already seen like 7 to 10 different maps. Like there's a lot of variety in the actual like fields you're playing on.
And the maps are like remasters of old maps from older games, right?
Most of them. Okay. There's still some new content. There's still some new monsters along the way. And it is mostly Monster Hunter 4 gameplay. Like it's almost a direct approximation, except in Monster Hunter Generations, there are the new hunting styles, the new hunting arts, and you can do your own play styles. And
Link from Wind Waker.
Link from Wind Waker, but I've been checking the DLC. I have not been able to get anything yet.
Yeah, they're probably usually with games like this they wait till launch.
Oh, sure.
But
I think the online might be up for people who do have the game. I'm not sure.
You can play as a cat.
Yes, the Palico stuff is cool. Because it's just regular Monster Hunter missions, but you can play as the cat.
Yeah.
What else? Yeah, go ahead.
Because I know that when this came out in Japan, like the impression that I got, it was like a more action-oriented. Like there's not as much sort of prep time required. Is that true, or do you still have to plan as much as ever for these things?
Well, I mean, you're going to come in with your same like stock of items. Like you're going to come in with the same like 15 items. Make sure you have 10 of everything, and then or whatever the limit is. You're going to have your potions, your mega potions. You're going to have a couple pickaxes. You're going to have your paintballs. It's a Monster Hunter game, except the biggest difference to the gameplay, I would say, like the way I'm playing this versus the way I'm playing Monster Hunter 4, is the way I played Monster Hunter 4, and I'm not sure if it was the same way for you, but the way I played Monster Hunter 4 was I would bait monsters onto the edge, I would go onto the edge, and I would just keep jumping off onto their backs and try to tank them and then try to hit them while they're down. That's a fairly accurate way.
That was pretty much how I handled the single player, but I played a lot of that game with people carrying me in multiplayer.
Okay. So Monster Hunter Generations actually encourages a lot more ground game. So it feels a bit like an older game in the series because most of the hunter arts, if not all of them, all encourage like ground game. So I'm using a hammer this time. I was using the twin blades, and I was using the big sword, and I used the switch axe a little bit, but I've settled onto the hammer. And all of the hunting arts that are attack based moves basically force it in the ground game. Like it's a spinning hammer attack. It's a hammer attack that like you do an uppercut, and it's like one where like you hit it, you do like a charging finishing move on it. So it basically forces you to get up and close to the monster and figure out how you want to time the attacks. And also, since I switched to hammer, I would say like now 70% of me damaging the boss monsters happens on the ground. It happens like next to it, and then like I'll jump onto it from time to time to nail extra damage. But I've been feeling this game way more, like as I've been trying more weapons. Like I've been using what's the big sword called? Like it's the first thing you could select.
The great sword.
The great sword. I would use exclusively the great sword for the entire Monster Hunter 4. But like Monster Hunter Generations, because I like trying the different styles and I like seeing the different ways you can play the game, I've been trying the hammer, and nothing is more satisfying than stunning a monster and then nailing it in the head with a hammer just over and over and over again, right at the top. Like I took out a Rathian just by basically mashing its head in. Like it's it's. It is called Monster Hunter X, by the way.
Yeah, I'm because I know that like my roommate's brother is like he's the guy who puts 1,000 hours into Monster Hunter 4 Ultimate, and like he's apparently already found ways to break the demo.
Yeah.
I'm afraid to see what he's going to do with the final game.
I want to play a Monster Hunter game for 1,000 hours, except I don't play games enough.
I want to play Monster Hunter 4 just enough to get the Zero Suit Samus outfit.
Is that one of those late game ones, Donald? Some of those are late game.
I mean, that was DLC, but you do need to be pretty late game for it, and I think that it was regular Samus instead of Zero Suit Samus.
There's a Zero Suit Samus costume in there. I've seen it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I must not have gone for it then, because I think I stopped with like the guest outfits once I got the Mega Man Palico outfit.
Nice!
There was something else. Suave brought up the other thing I wanted to talk about, is I've been like, because one thing that Zach might have noticed, and Neil definitely noticed when I was at the PAX East demo this year, is that I'd forgotten to play Monster Hunter between Monster Hunter 4 and Monster Hunter Generations. So like I didn't really know what I was doing at all. And like as I've been like sort of rekindling my love for Monster Hunter a little bit, like I'm starting to get interested in other Monster Hunter games. And one of those games is the one Suave 551 is mentioning in the chat, which is the cartoon version of Monster Hunter game, which is called, Donald, Monster Hunter. It's not Explorers, is it?
Stories.
Monster Hunter Stories.
The RPG that has the amiibo with it.
Yes, it has those sick looking amiibo. Yeah, they're big too. And he's saying, is the cartoon version is Monster Hunter Stories? Do you think it'll sell well like it did for that Lost Planet game? Like how it didn't sell well. That game is gonna do. It's gonna do the Yokai Watch thing, where it'll probably do okay, but not nearly as well as they want it to.
I think that game is. I think people are underselling what that game is going to do, because that seems tailor-made for a system. Like that seems tailor-made to be like a first Monster Hunter to get that younger crowd who's playing Pokemon and Yokai Watch. So between that and there's enough fan service nods in there for the ginormous Monster Hunter audience in Japan that I think Capcom was aiming for 4 million. I can't remember if that game was one of the. I can't remember if it was that or Resident Evil that they had plotted to sell 4 million this fiscal year.
Well, this game has not been announced for the West yet. It probably will be because it focuses on Amiibo, and Amiibo is a Western thing.
Yeah. But yeah, that's probably like this time next year for stories in the West. But I could easily see that doing 3 or 4 million just in Japan this year.
Wow.
Right. Oh, in Japan it'll do that because Monster Hunter itself is played by young people already.
Yeah, And this is like this, and this appeals. It has a crossover both with the Monster Hunter audience, which, like we said, is massive, and the massive audience that plays like Yokai Watch and Pokemon.
What's so surprising about, well, not surprising, but what's interesting, because today or yesterday, as I've been playing Monster Hunter Generations in like these 3 or 4 hour chunks in order to like review and have enough the gameplay to review it, I was watching some of the Monster Hunter Stories gameplay, and I was surprised, and I was like, like doing a turn-based RPG for Monster Hunter, that's a little weird. But at the same time, what's super cool about it is that it applies all the concepts and like things that you know and love from Monster Hunter, except they do it in this easily packaged, easy to digest, childlike way. Like it's like, oh, like that's how my favorite monsters move. Like, oh shit, like they know how Zenogre works. Like they know how to present a Zenogre in a kid's Monster Hunter game.
Dude, for real, this art style looks like they just hired the Yokai Watch art people.
Well, who looks like they hired the knockoff Pokemon people.
Yeah.
But either
those
way,
amiibos are sexy. Oh my god.
what's smart about it is that when you do this with the Monster Hunter, when you introduce these concepts to kids, they're going to want to play the real Monster Hunter. So I definitely see it as a transition point. But the game also looks cool, and I hope it comes to the West because it looks relatively text-heavy, and it looks gorgeous in-game.
Yeah, I just hope they did not pull any X-Troopers with this game and like put the text in images that makes it completely unlocalizable, because that would be a tragedy.
Right.
Like, this is one of my most anticipated games of next year, and I don't even know if it's coming out.
Is this lamprey-looking thing an actual monster in the Monster Hunter games?
Which one?
It looks like a white thing with just a mouth and wings. What the heck is that thing? Good
What's
Lord.
it called?
Nightmare fuel. Well, I can't read Japanese. But it looks like just a worm with a mouth on one end and 2 legs. That is creepy.
Does it have like a hammerhead shark-like head?
No.
Just look up Monster Hunter Stories. It's on Google. It's the second image. God, what is
Monster Hunter Stories.
I'll post a link in the chat. There, just put a link on. It's the second monster. That just looks disturbing. It's like all these other things are cutesy, and then you get to this.
Yeah.
What is that?
That might be new for that game, because I don't recall fighting anything like it in 4 Ultimate.
That's some SMT stuff.
Yeah, that's creepy as hell.
That looks like Mara.
Oh wait, I'm gonna paste this into our other chat so that the people who are watching.
Oh yeah, maybe they know what the heck it is.
-9 characters remaining. Either way, it looks like a penis with a mouth.
Exactly.
But like a mouth with teeth too. Yeah. Great way to end the show, right?
Right. Yep. Penis with a mouth.
That said, it is that time.
Teeth.
Thank you so much for listening / watching / absorbing Nintendo World Report Night. I'm your host, Alexander Kalafi. You can find Zachary Miller on Twitter at ZMiller1902, ZMILLER1902. That is this fellow right here. Zach, say something.
Hi.
There's Zach. All right, cool. And the other face who just popped up is one Mr. Donald Terrio on Twitter at Donald Mick, DonaldMick, or his other show, Nintendo Free Radio, that is at NFR Podcast. And I am Alex Kulafi. Donald, what were you just saying?
Just wanted to mention that we are on Patreon as well, patreon.com/NWR for early access and sometimes exclusive articles.
Excellent. Thank you for remembering, Donald, because sometimes I forget. So yeah, patreon.com/NWR. You can find me on Twitter at CULAFIA. That's our show. Thank you so much, everybody. Have a good night. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.